right, so this is just completely stretching. So we're gonna start with some circles. Let me tip my camera up a little bit here. Let's just start by warming up some of these joints here. So let's start with a half circle for your neck. Half circle to the front only. Nice and slow. Don't make yourself dizzy. And then go ahead and look forward and let's do some big shoulder rolls. Get some fluid in the shoulder joints. Gets a little bit of action in that upper back. And then go the opposite direction. Just big shoulder rolls. Now, since we are going to be doing a little bit of yoga, let's go ahead and warm up the wrists too a little bit. So clasp your hands together, do big figure eights. Don't go too fast, try to feel the end ranges of those circles. And then you can also add a little bit of shoulder rolls in here too. I know it looks funky when I do it, I'm not as smooth. And then go the other direction. But all you're trying to do is just get a little bit of range in there. Get a little bit of heat. Warm it up. Yeah, all right. And then you can go heels of your hands together, straight out in front of you. Bring them in and then press, extend those fingers. Circle around and press those fingers open. Circle back around, press them open, wiggle, 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 wiggle one more time. And then let's drop down to the hips. So do some hip circles here. Just a nice little circle of the hips. So what we want to do is get the body warm a little bit before we start doing our more aggressive stretching. You gotta get some heat in there. Other direction, like a hula hoop. And you might be thinking, this is hardly any stretching at all, Erin. What are we doing? And again, the more that we move those joints, we're gonna get that synovial fluid in those joints, feed the cartilage. This is all really good before we start taking it to the end range of motion. So feet together now, hands on your knees, draw a little circle here. And if you keep those heels in the ground, you will feel a little calf stretch as you're doing this. You might feel some snap, crackle, pop in the knees. It's okay, as long as there's no pain. And go the other direction, little circle. Try to keep those ankles on, or the feet on the ground so you get some ankle warm up too. All right, so from here you can move to a good position on your mat. Feet will stay together. We're gonna fold forward at the hips. I want you to do this with a flat back. You can support yourself on your knees, shoulders down, lengthen that neck. Feel a little hamstring stretch. And then we're gonna sit back for chair pose. Knees stay together for this one. Feet are together and then arms come straight up. Abs are in tight, looking forward, shoulders away from your ears. And then from here, just stand straight up. And arms come down. I'm a bit close to my door here. So hinge forward at the hips. Knees are straight here. Get a nice hamstring, maybe a little bit of low back stretch. Then drop down into your chair pose. Arms go up. Abs are tight and push straight up. Great. Arms come down. Let's do it again, twice more. Hinge forward at the hips. Try to get a little bit lower. Bend the knees. A little bit lower into your squat. Arms come up as far as you can reach them. And stand up tall. 2 more times. Bend forward. So you can start rounding the back a little bit here if you want to. If it's starting to feel loose, drop towards your toes, touch the floor, chair pose, bring the arms up, and stand up all the way. Last one. Forward fold now all the way down. Drop the head. You can even grab your elbows and pull a little bit further. Touch the floor, drop the hips, chair pose. Now right here, go ahead and bring your hands together in front of you. We're gonna turn to one side. You can drop the elbow towards that outside knee. Feel a little twist, stretch here. Come back to the middle. Don't force any of these. Other side. Just go to where you can. And bring it back to the middle. Stand up really tall. Reach your arms over your head and lean back very slightly. And arms come down. All right, here we go. We're gonna go into the full sun salutation. We'll start with it modified on our knees. So walk towards the front of your mat. Arms go up. Reach back slightly. Forward fold. Drop down. And the shoulders relaxed. You can half lift. So go to flat back. Flat back. Then bend your knees and drop down, knees onto the ground into your quadruped position. Okay, from here, turn your toes under, plank, and then push those sitting bones up into downward facing dog. So from here, try to press into the palm of your hand, first finger, thumb pad, drop your heels towards the ground, push your sitting bones up towards the ceiling, and then shoulders should be strong into your back. Then drop the knees down, go all the way belly down, and we're going to do our cobra. So arms, forearms on the floor, lift your chest up, shoulders down away from your ears, look forward, get a nice little abdominal stretch here. And then let it go. Back to the knees, back to downward facing dog. And then slowly walk your toes towards your hands, bending your knees if you need to, until we're back in forward fold. Then we're gonna roll it up really slowly. Go all the way back up, head comes up last. And here we go. Again, arms up, lift up, lean back slightly. And forward fold. You can swan dive to the front and then let yourself hang. Halfway lift up to flat back. Really try to press those hips behind you. And then you can bend those knees, place the hands on the floor, walk back, knees down. Plank position, high plank position right here. So your plank position, your foot and hand position should be the same as for downward facing dog. If you're walking your hands in too far, that's probably too far. So you should be able to go high plank, push straight up to downward facing dog. Drop those heels towards the floor, nice strong back. Lengthen that spine. Then bring it back to plank, drop down to your knees, all the way to the ground, up to cobra. Get that nice extension of the spine, lift the chin, long neck. Release that back down to the ground. Come back to your knees, turn the toes under, and press up to downward facing dog. And then walk those toes in. And slowly round it up. Head comes up last. All right, we have 3 more of these, but now we're going to start increasing the speed a little bit. And we're not going to drop to our knees. We're going to go full plank to down dog. So here we go. Reach your arms up. Lean back, forward fold, halfway lift, flat back, drop down, hands in the ground, step back to your high plank, and then push the sitting bones up, downward facing dog. Now bring it back to your high plank. Now you have the option to drop to your knees here if you want, or slow yourself down, a negative push-up all the way to the ground, and then you can lift. So press up as far as you can. If you need to be here on your elbows, that's totally fine. Or you can go all the way up here. Your feet can still be on the ground. And then let yourself down. Push straight back into downward facing dog. So while you're here, you can go ahead and walk the dog. So bend your right knee, then your left knee. Try not to move your hips too much. Getting a different calf stretch. Go back and forth. Bend the right knee, bend the left knee, right knee, left knee. One more time each side. And both heels down. Now from here, walk your toes in till your forward fold. And then we're slowly, slowly rolling it up. Head comes up last. Nice deep breath. Arms over your head. Inhale. And exhale to forward fold. Lift up halfway. And then drop down. Put your hands on the mat. Walk your feet back to a high plank. And downward facing dog. Extend that spine, lengthen that spine. Drop the head down. Come to your high plank. Lower into your push-up, all the way down. Now you can flip your feet and go up into true upward dog here if you want, which is just the tops of your feet on the ground, okay? Or you can drop the tops of your thighs down, and you can even just do forearms. It's up to you. But full upward dog is on the top of your feet. Top of your feet. Turn your toes under. Go back to downward facing dog. And then you're going to walk your feet in. And slowly roll up. One more time. Here we go. Arms up, reach back. Inhale. Actually, while we're here, why don't you stay up really tall. I'm going to turn and face you. Arms over your head, clasp them together. And then I want you to lean to one side. Get that nice side body stretch. Try to open up that chest towards the front. Come back to center. Lean and reach to the other side. Don't let your chest collapse down. Keep it nice and open. Great. And then come back up straight. And from here, drop straight down. Forward fold. Boo, who's that?
I'm Gigi.
Cameo by Gigi. Lift halfway, flat back, and then drop down. Place your hands on the mat. Walk or hop back to plank. Then push up to downward facing dog. You gonna stretch with me?
I got to go to sleep.
Oh, you're gonna go to sleep. Okay, good night.
I'm going to go
And back to your high plank. Lower it down all the way to the ground. Flip your toes under. Upward facing dog. And turn those toes back under. Downward facing dog. Now the advanced version is for you to hop up to your hands. So you can either walk or hop. If you're gonna hop, bend your knees and hop your feet together.
Mommy.
Hi, honey. Then slowly roll all the way up. Head comes up last. All right, how are we doing? Good? Okay, let's actually get into the hips and shoulders a little bit deeper. So if you have something to hold on to, this is not gonna be good for me to hold on to, but I'll hold on to the wall. Move over to that wall so you can hold on to that wall. And I'll show you from here. Or a piano if you have a piano or something like that. So you're gonna stand right next to the wall, okay? The stable foot is going to be the one that's right next to the wall. We're going to be stretching and using the other hip. So I want to create tension and stay really solid, really tall. So I'm going to take my outside arm, put it across my chest, make it kind of tight, create tension here. I want to draw my rib cage down, activating my core. And then I'm going to bring that outside hip up, knee up as high as I can. Meanwhile, I'm driving the other leg down into the ground. So I'm not rotating my hips. Okay, I don't want to be crunching here or leaning back. Everything else is solid. Toes up towards my knee. You might start feeling a cramp right about now. So we're going to take that knee and open it up out to the side as far as you can go. You want about 90 degrees of bend at that knee. And again, these hips need to be solid and stable, pointing forward. Now, here's the hardest one. This is position number 2. Position number 3, we're going to kick the heel up as high as we can go until we feel that little cramp. Breathe through that cramp in the glutes. And then we're going to circle it down, knees together, and try to pull that heel up towards your butt as high as you can without leaning. Everything else is tight. Great. Okay, let's do it again. Shake it out. Nice deep breath, and same leg. Bring it up as high as you can. Hold it. Out to the side. Position 2. Drive that opposite foot into the ground. Okay, heel up, knee down. Just as high as you can get it. And knees together, heel up behind you. Deep breath. Here we go, back up to the front. Try to find what that end of your range of motion is and really test that. Try to push it just a little bit. Position 2, out to the side. Open those hips. Deep breath here. Create tension everywhere else. Lift that heel up. And knees together, heel up towards your butt. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And relax it back down. Okay, other leg. So you can turn around. Just listen for my count now that you know how to do it. All right, sweetheart. GG. All right, here we go. Opposite hand over the chest. Lift that knee up in front of you. Toes up towards the knee. Drive the other leg down into the ground. Chest up nice and tall, but no arching. Abs are tight. Out to the side, number 2. And hold it just as high as you can. And here we turn. Now try not to lean more into the other hip. You want to lift that heel as high as you can, and now knees together, position number 4. Pick that heel up towards your butt. Try to stand up really tall, and relax, shake it out. Here we go, again. Bring it up. Abs are tight, knees up, feet up, toes up towards your knee. Number 2, out to the side. Really try to open that hip up. And number 3, heel up, knee down, twist, 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 deep breath. And knees together, heel up towards your butt. Press those hips forward so we're not hinging at the hips. Press the hips forward, and then one more time, here we go. Number 1, to the front. Drive that opposite foot. This is gonna take some balance for me. Hi, Gigi. All right, out to the side. Let's close this. You wanna come in?
I want to
Come in and close it.
I need to go Tyson.
Oh, well then maybe you should go. Here we go. Heel up, number 3. And knees together, heel towards your butt. Hold it, and relax. All right, I'm gonna pause this and give you guys a little break just for a second. Here we go. Okay, back to the mat. We're gonna go through our sun salutation again and add more this time. So here we go. Arms up, feet together, reach back, and swan dive forward. Forward fold. Lift the flat back. Step back, hands down, step back into your plank. Push your sitting bones up into downward facing dog. Now here's where we're gonna start adding some. So I want you to lift your left leg straight up in the air. Don't let your hips rotate open like this, not yet. And then we're gonna bring it towards your nose, towards your chest, into your plank. So a lot of abs right here. Now step that foot down into your lunge, right here. So runner stretch. And from here, you want to try to press those hips down towards the ground. And drive up, lift up your chest up tall, arms straight up above you. Hold it here for just a second. Feel that nice stretch in your hip flexor. Then we're going to turn that heel down towards the ground. Open up the hips. This is warrior two right here. So press that knee open. These toes are pointing towards the wall. Back foot is pointing perpendicular. Arms are out straight. Shoulders stacked over your hips. Nice and tall. You can turn your head and look over your hand. And from here, we'll go reverse warrior. So drop the back hand. Lift the front hand up and bend back. And then to the front. Just very gently place your elbow on that front knee and extend to a side body stretch. Arm over your head. Keep that chest open. All right, then we're gonna pivot on the back toe, come back down to the ground. Now from here, I want you to try a little funky one for the hip. So we're gonna drop the knee down, and then we're gonna try to turn. So you may have to pivot this outside foot. Let me show you from this position. So pivot this outside foot and drop down towards that hip. Bring it in a little bit closer maybe. And you should feel a nice stretch on the outside of that hip. Maybe into the lower back. Shoulders away from the ears. So now we're gonna come back. So now pivot back, come back to your runner stretch, and then step that other foot back. So I'm gonna turn back around for you guys. And downward facing dog. Back to plank, drop down to the ground, up dog. Shoulders down away from the ears, turn the toes under, downward facing dog. All right, right side, extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. Keep your hips level. And now bring that knee in towards your chest. And again, if you need to, you can set the knee down here. And step that foot or walk that foot into your runner's stretch. So from here, just try to press your hips towards the floor. Breathe into that nice hip stretch. And then we're gonna drive straight up, arms come up over the head. Hold it here. So your feet and your knees should be aligned. It's like you're on train tracks. And then from here, you're gonna pivot that heel down, turn into your warrior. So I'm gonna switch positions. Just hold your warrior here. I'm gonna switch positions on my mat so you can see me. Right here, so shoulders stacked over your hips, arms out straight, shoulders down away from your ears. See how I'm lunging? When I lunge, the knee stays right on top of that ankle. From here, we'll go reverse warrior. So back arm goes down, front arm goes up, reach, reach, reach. And then just flip that elbow lightly, giving you some support on your knee, and reach over the top with your other arm. Now let's go bring it back down to the ground, pivot on that foot, pivot on the foot down, and then we're gonna drop that knee, walk that foot towards you, turn it out, and drop that hip down. Try to extend that leg. My IT band is really tight. I know some of you can tell. Some of you can tell that. Take a deep breath or so here. Try to release that hip. Okay, then we're going to pivot back, use your hands for help. And then go back into our downward facing dog. So I'm going to switch back on the mat. Downward facing dog. And then walk those toes towards your hands. Roll it up slowly. Head comes up last. All right, here we go. Arms over your head, reach back, lean back slightly. Inhale, exhale into your forward fold. You can lift up to flat back, drop back down, hands on the ground. Step or jump back into your plank, and then downward facing dog. So from here, we're gonna lift that left leg again, but this time you can open the hips. So let that leg drop behind you, open your hips, let your knee bend, feel that nice stretch. And then we're gonna swing it back under, nice and controlled again. It can be on the floor here, or you can hold it up for a little bit of abs, and then step that foot through. Right here, come up to crescent pose. So this is your runner stretch, but with your arms overhead. Now, pivot that heel down towards the floor, warrior two. And from here, what I want to do is actually extend that front knee. We're going to go into a triangle pose. So to triangle well, we're going to lead the hip. So push the hip back behind you first, then slide your arms forward as far as you can, and now drop down to your shin or to your ankle or to the floor, and then open up that chest, point those fingers towards the ceiling, and you can turn and look at your fingers. So you should be feeling this a little bit up here in the side of your body, definitely here in your adductors and hamstrings. Nice deep breath, and then bend the knee to get out of this. Bring it back up into your warrior two. Let's go reverse warrior. And lunge forward, or sorry, stretch side bend forward. And then circle the arms down, pivot back to the toes. And here we go, back to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Let's go back to our plank. Drop down, upward facing dog. And flip those toes under, downward facing dog. All right, right side, lift the leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip. Get a nice hip stretch there. You might even feel it in your calf too. And then sweep that leg under. Hold here for a little abs, and then set the foot down into your crescent pose. Reach the arms straight up, press the hips down. Great picture, Gigi. You can't even see this beautiful picture she's writing on my whiteboard. Great. All right, we're gonna go into our warrior two. So pivot that heel down, arms go out. And then from here, we're going into triangle. Triangle pose.
Do you want to all done? Let's do exercise.
All done with exercise? No, not yet, honey. Extend that knee in front of you. Press those hips back. Reach the fingertips forward as far as you can. Then drop down to your shins. Opposite arm goes straight up. Fingertips towards the ceiling. Triangle pose. Get out of this. Go ahead and bend that front knee. Back up to warrior two. Reverse warrior, reach back. And then side stretch to the front. Circle down. Pivot on the back toe. Drop the hands. Downward facing dog. Try to lengthen that spine. Shoulders strong into the back. And then walk your feet forward and slowly roll up. Head comes up last. Roll the shoulders back. All right, let's go ahead and take it to the ground. So we're going to do a few cats and cows first, and then a half kneeling hip series. So drop down to your hands and knees. Hands right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips. So cats and cows, push the middle of the back up, drop the head down. And then arch. Head goes up, shoulders down away from your ears. Open up that chest. And if you want to time the breath with it, it's exhale to round up. And inhale to arch. Exhale, round up. Inhale, arch. All right, find neutral right here. So halfway between. I want to open up your T-spine, your thoracic spine a little bit. So take one hand, start with your right hand, and I want you to scratch that base of your neck, middle of your back, right here. So you want to try to open up that elbow. Now from here, we're going to do 5 reps. We're going to tuck down, and then lift that elbow, lift that chest up towards the corner of the room. So it's not really opening to the side, it's kind of at an angle, 45-degree angle. Then tuck back and lift. And tuck back and lift. Try to open up that elbow a little bit more if you can. 2 more, tuck back and lift. And last one, tuck back and lift. Bring it down, relax, other side. Same thing, scratch your back. Right about the base of your neck. Try to keep your elbow open, not right next to your ear, but open back behind your head. And here we go, tuck it down. And lift towards the corner of the room, open up that back. Tuck it down. And lift. Tuck down. And lift. Open, open, 2 more, tuck down. Try to lift it up a little bit further, open it up a little bit more. And last one, tuck down and lift. And relax. Okay, let's thread the needle and stretch that out. So from here, you can sit back slightly. Take one arm, reach under along the floor, drop your head down, and try to stretch, open up that scapula in the back. Feel that nice stretch in the upper back. Keep your shoulders down, nice long neck. And slowly bring it up. Same thing to the other side. Reach that arm through, slide it along the floor, drop your head down. Nice upper back stretch. Reach a little bit further if you can. And slowly bring it back up. All right, from here, let's get into our half kneeling hip flexor stretch. You know, everyone knows by now my favorite. So right here, knee is directly under your hip. Tuck your pelvis under. Reach that same arm up. And then you can slightly lean to the opposite side and open up that chest if you want. If you need a little extra stretch. Go ahead and release that. Extend, so I want you to sit back and you're going to extend that front knee and then just try to press your hips back. Keep your back straight, press your hips back. You don't need to bring your toes up for this one. Just trying to get those hamstrings in the opposite leg. You can put your hands, fingertips beside you for balance. Okay, rock it back forward. Now, if you can, if you want to, you can bring that foot up behind you and get that nice quadricep stretch in the front. Try to keep your chest lifted up tall, still squeezing those glutes behind you. So we're not arching the back here, but we're pressing the hip forward to get that quad stretch. This one's always a challenge for me. Good, go ahead and release that stretch. Now I'm just gonna turn, but I want you to be in that same half kneeling position, because from here you're just gonna step out to the side, open up that hip, and we're gonna rock back and forth just a little bit. Kind of stretch out those adductors. Press that knee open, chest up tall. From here, go ahead and put both hands on the floor. We're gonna turn that leg to make it straight, and then we'll sit back. So we're stretching your adductors here, sit back, and then bring it back up. So just rock forward and back nice and slow, stretching out those adductors. Good. Last one, we're gonna go ahead and walk that leg in. So walk it in close to your knee and see if you can sit back on your heel and set that heel down. We're gonna do a calf stretch here. So bring it in tight if you can, and then all we're gonna do is lean forward, put a little pressure on that front knee, keeping the heel down just till you feel the stretch. Just till you feel the stretch. And you should feel it in your calf back here on the same leg. Okay, sit back to come out of this stretch. And we're actually gonna switch sides now. So put both knees down. We'll go to the other side. So hip flexor stretch first. 90-90. Tuck the hips under. Then that same side that you're stretching, the arm comes straight up. And then from here you can lean over to the opposite side and even open up that chest if you want. Nice deep breathing. Squeeze those glutes tight. Gigi, I don't even know what you're doing. Oh my goodness, so much art happening.
Hey, Fire, wake up! There, down.
Why don't you draw another picture on
There.
the whiteboard? All right, release that stretch, and we're going to sit back, stretch the hamstring. Again, toes don't need to come up. We're not going to stretch our sciatic nerve here. We're just trying to press those hips back, keep the back flat, support yourself on the floor or on your thigh if you need to. Get a nice hamstring stretch from the back of that hamstring. That's in the front.
And Mommy, Heather's go seeing my here. My tip.
So Gigi is preparing to get a hamster. That is the new thing we're looking forward to. She's not excited. All right, go ahead and bring that back up. And from here, again, squeeze your glutes. But now we're going to reach for those toes in the back and get that nice quad stretch in the front. Hopefully Erin doesn't fall over. Squeeze those glutes. Feel that stretch. And release that. All right, I'm gonna turn to the front, but you can stay where you are. This half kneeling position, open it up, step your foot out. You can even put your hand on that knee, make sure it's staying open, it's not collapsing in, but staying open, and we'll just do a little gentle rocking here, forward and back till you feel that stretch. We're going slow.
And mommy, bless me. I do.
What are you gonna do? We're doing a low squat. Whoa! Jumping jacks. That was Wednesday. Burpees. Okay, so from here, we're gonna drop down to the floor and we're gonna extend that leg to the side. Doing a handstand, oh boy. All right, so from here, sit back onto that hip. You don't have to sit all the way down to the heel, but we're just gonna rock forward and back. Getting that adductor stretch. Couple more. You see a little guy up there, don't you? He's fascinated with you. All right, let's go ahead and lock that in. Let's get that calf stretch on the other side. So foot right next to your knee. Sit back on that heel and now apply a little bit of pressure, lean forward just till you get that calf stretch. Gigi, can you come sit right here? Come sit right here.
No.
Okay, how about over there? Press it forward just so you feel that tension, that stretch. And then sit back to release and go ahead and sit down on the ground. So we're gonna do our 90-90 stretch here. Okay, Gigi, I'm gonna have to ask you to move, sweetheart.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you go outside and find a book? Can you go find a book to read?
No, not book.
Not a book? Okay, go find something else. Then bring it back. Okay, so we're gonna start with a 90-90 degree sit. So 90 degrees in one hip, 90 degrees in the other one. Start whichever one you feel most comfortable on, and then you're gonna try, I can't even do it completely, so you're gonna try to sit up really tall with this stretch, okay? It's a challenge because we're doing internal rotation of that back hip and external rotation of that front hip, so it is a challenge, all right? Some people will go closer together and do a shin box, but we're gonna try to, since this is for flexibility, we're gonna try to get to those end ranges.
Ta-da!
You have a happy birthday sign.
No, it's a happy birthday in mine.
So from here, we're gonna rotate to the other side. So if you need a little bit of help, you're gonna put your hands behind you on the floor, lift that back knee, and try to keep the front knee on the ground for as long as possible. And we're gonna get into this bear sit. It's almost like a frog sit in the middle. And avoid the cramps. So then we're gonna rotate to the other side. Same position, 90-90. And then just try to sit up as tall as possible. Nice tight core, pressing into those hips, just so you feel that stretch.
Happy birthday!
Let's go back to the other side. So open up that back knee as far as you can, keeping the front one down. You can use your hands behind you for support, or you can be out here and then rotate back. So from here, we can actually go into pigeon. What you'll need to do is lean back a little bit, straighten out that back leg, and roll over to the top of your hip. So this is pigeon pose, okay? Now, if you're closer in like this, that's okay, but ideally, if you want to get more range of motion, walk that foot up in front of you. And just take a minute right here. Open up that front hip flexor. And then we're going to drop down towards that knee in the front. So drop down to your elbows or as far as you can go and try to get more towards the knee. So you're going to have to go a little bit to your left or right, whichever knee's in front of you. And press your chest towards that knee. So here's that nice glute stretch for you.
Today
Okay, we're gonna bring it up slowly. Rotate out of that one, so just roll out of that. And then switch to the other side. So extend that leg. Mine always pops here. Oh goodness, I'll have to talk to our athletic trainer about that. Why is that? And flat on that front quad, on that front of the thigh. Try to sit up real tall here, get a little extra hip flexor stretch. And then drop down to your elbows if you can. And we're gonna try to press our chest towards the knee that you're stretching. So you're gonna turn a little bit. I'm turning to my right because I'm stretching my right one.
No.
And take a deep breath. Slowly bring it back up. Rotate out of that stretch. And then we're gonna be down on your back. Okay, so go ahead and take a break, lay down on your back. Let me check how much time we have. Perfect, all right. So for this last sequence, if you need a towel, you can go grab a towel. Or if you're kind of flexible, you can also grab your toes for this one. So if you need a minute, you can grab a towel, and then we're just gonna lay down on your back. Both legs out straight. Give yourself just a minute here to reset, relax. Okay, we're gonna do your hamstring stretch. So driving the other leg down, you can either grab your big toe and extend, or use the towel. Hey, Gigi. Gigi.
Try to focus here.
Okay, we are trying to focus here. Come here. Come over here. Over here.
No,
Thank you.
Fish here.
So you can wrap this towel
Here.
around your arch and extend. And then that other leg that's on the ground, try to walk that in towards the midline and press it flat towards the floor. So we're not trying to pull your toes towards your face here. We're just trying to get this extension in the back of this leg. So extend the knee and keep the hips on the floor. That'll really get your hamstring. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's not where this goes. Thank you. Okay, so from here, we're gonna focus a little bit more on the outer hamstring. So just bring it across your body, trying to keep your hip on the floor, and just bringing your foot barely across your body. Very slow movement, very small movement. Breathe into the back of the hamstring. And then go ahead and release that. Release that stretch, that leg down to the ground. Let's go to the other side. And again, if you're super bendy, you can grab your toe and go straight up from there, but it's a little bit easier with a towel. Okay, drive that other foot down, try to bring it towards the midline straight. Keep the hips flat on the ground. And then hopefully you can also relax your head and shoulders. Uh-oh, we found the piano. Gigi, it would be really helpful if you didn't play the piano right now. Okay? Why don't you go find a book? All right, bring it across. Keeping that left hip on the ground. Press it. Press it towards the ground.
Gigi says sticky. Be quiet.
Uh-oh. We're going to be serenaded here. All right, bring it back up, release that stretch. Okay, now I'm gonna show you the twisting stretch. Knee up, across the body, and open up that chest. All right, hold that stretch. That's beautiful, but I need you to hold off on that, okay? Not until Mama's done with the movie. All right? Say, okay, Mama. Get up, watch your fingers. Thank you. 5 more minutes. Here we go. Chest is open. Press your shoulder blade towards the ground. Open it up. Nice twist in the back. And then slowly bring it back towards the center. We'll switch sides. That leg goes straight, other knee up 90 degrees. Bring it across the body slowly. And then open up your chest. Extend the arm to the other side, and you can turn your head and look at the other side. One more deep breath right here. And slowly bring it back to the center. Bring your knees up, let your low back release here for a minute. And then you're gonna roll over to your side to get up. Get up safely on that back. And that is it for today, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna stop recording here.